Hello, everybody. So we're going to try this again, and I'm going to go through. I have two stories to read today. I'm going to give them a little bit of feedback, and then talk about some things. I want to thank everybody for being here and the grace and patience as I learn and grow and get over my nerves. But I'm just going to keep doing it and going to keep recording and posting, and hope I can help some people. I am still working on the mic issues, so hopefully we can fix some of it in editing, but I am taking recommendations for different mics that I can try and different things that I can do to kind of involve everything. So again, I am Elisa, and this is the Mismanaged Podcast. And so today I'm going to go over a couple toxic workplace stories, and just give a little bit of feedback from my own personal experience and how I would handle it as a manager and as an employee. If you have any questions or if you have any scenarios and you would like feedback on, or if you've got something going on, I'm here to help. Just reach out, send me a message, either through Facebook or YouTube. And I'd love to hear from you. And if you've worked with me or for me in the past, comment below a happy memory you have, something that we've done. I know a couple people remember at one of my jobs, we used to do dance parties. I actually did them to get my own nerves out, and it just made everybody happy. It starts the day great, and so I still do them in the mornings, especially if I'm about to get on a phone call or a meeting. I love to kind of shake it out. I did it when I was a scout leader as well. We started almost all of our meetings, especially the den meetings where the kids had to pay attention. And, dancing just makes everything better. So I feel like it just helps everybody. So here we go. Please like and subscribe and share if you like what I say. And if you have a differing opinion, I'd love to hear it. That's what this is all about, is helping each other and hearing different voices and understanding that difference is okay. And not everybody's going to agree, but when you have a common goal and a common objective, then you can all work together. I come from a couple different workplaces where that wasn't the goal, or that wasn't the outcome. Sometimes people struggle with letting other people excel because they think that it kind of discounts them, and I promise you it doesn't. So we'll learn about all of that, and we'll do it together, and we'll grow together. But yeah, so the first story that I'm going to read you comes from our toxic workplaces. I'm going to learn how to credit the OPs, but it is Time to Rant is the person that posted this. And it says, Gossip girls are mad because I'm not letting them sabotage my work. Disclaimer, I call everyone girls, they aren't all women. So the gossip girls love feeling better than everyone else. They will find any way to put you down, from the way you talk to whatever they notice you're missing after they're done snooping through your work. We've all been there. They have way too much time on their hands because their work isn't complete. When I just started, I was way too nice and polite to say anything, never mind stand up for myself. I feel like I could have written this, but I didn't, I promise. Old management didn't help. Now we are under new management, so I saw that as my chance, and I finally snitched. Good for you, it's not snitching. I finally opened up about how they're always in my space. Thanks. Zeus, my new boss, already noticed. He immediately understood and told them to leave me alone. You have no idea how big of a leap it has been. When the third gossip girl heard, she got so upset he was walking around looking like a little brat half of the day. He thought we had a connection, even though clearly didn't trust me and expected me to trust them. The other two kept their distance, but practically jumped on over the moment I was in a common area. I continued keeping my distance. They look sad now, like they miss my friendship. They spent their whole time invading my space and searching for things I do wrong, all because I was starting to avoid them, their insults, and their trauma dumps. Now they're mad they can no longer come over and check my to-do list, thinking I won't notice, check how much I'm filing. They've commented on it before, eavesdrop on my conversations with clients, and pretend that not everything comes out of my bag is suspicious. They act like I'm doing drugs, even though I'm coming in super early and getting more work done. Yet anytime I look even 1% tired, they ask if I have been drinking. I'm so done, and they are so bored. So when I was a manager and people would be stressed about, oh, so and so is doing this, or, people would be getting in trouble. The minute you start worrying about what other people are doing, your job is not being done, right? So if you're constantly worried about, oh, so and so didn't get this report done, so and so didn't get that report done, why does it matter? Your job is to get your job done. If that is affecting your day-to-day duties, then yes, say something. Hey, I noticed you're struggling with this. But the goal is to build them up. If people are constantly coming to you and finding everything you've done wrong, that's because they're not fulfilling what they need. And instead of focusing on their tasks, they're trying to point out what you're doing wrong to get the heat off of them. I can't tell you the number of times people have come after me like, oh, Elisa didn't do this or Elisa said that. Mind you, I'm just over here doing my job. My goal is for companies to do better, for the company I'm working for to exceed, for the people that work with me and for me to excel and to do better. So I am always focused on the next step and the next day. I am not worried unless they're a direct report of me. I'm not worried about other people are doing because if they're paying attention to what I'm doing, then there's something wrong with what's going on their plate. So when people are focused and they're trying to tear you down, understand that it doesn't come from a place of what you're doing wrong. It comes from a place of them not wanting the attention on them. When that happens, you have to say something because nobody's ever challenged that before. So go to a supervisor or somebody that you trust and just say, hey, I am just trying to get my job done. You're not filing a complaint. I just want it on record. This has been brought up and this is what I'm doing. And then you move on. If they say something, my supervisor doesn't have an issue with my job, don't worry about it. Don't let it bother you. The more they harp on you, the more insecure they are. That is a direct reflection of their job and how good of a job you are doing. All right. So when this happens, stay the course. But if it becomes to a point where it's affecting you, tell somebody and move on. Document it and move on. Don't dwell. Don't stoop to their level. I know it's hard, but at the end of the day, that is going to be rewarded because the higher ups are going to see, okay, they're just doing their job. You're just doing your job. You're not creating drama. All right. So, while I wish this person had spoken up a little bit sooner, I completely understand why they didn't, and I've been there. So my advice in the future is speak up sooner or ask them, hey, is there something I can help you with? Is there something that I can, do for you? Can I help improve you? Can I help you finish this report? Start saying stuff like that or document it in emails. Hey, John Doe had an issue with this report. Here's a copy of it. Please let me know if you have any issues. You're just covering yourself, and eventually they're going to either get bored and find somebody else, or they're going to correct their action, or one of you moves on to something better. But don't ever jeopardize yourself because other people are insecure. I've seen so many people throw away good jobs and good opportunities because they get so focused on what other people are doing that they lose the plot and they stop focusing on what they're supposed to be doing, and then their job falls to the wayside. So I hope that helped. Also, I apologize if I talk too fast. Again, I am nervous, so please comment below if you want me to slow down a little bit. And I'm going to learn as I go. So if you've worked for me before, you're used to it and it probably follows along. Um, so, so this one's going to come with malicious compliance. This is r/malicious compliance, and it's from Floating a Waste. Sprained ankle, boss wanted a doctor's note to pay 1 day of sick time. Now he's paying a week. I twisted and sprained my ankle Monday morning, packing up our camp for Labor Day weekend. Having done this a few times in the past, I didn't want to bother to have it checked out. Who wants to pay $1,000 urgent care to tell you to rest and ice it? Hear that? Yay, America. So I went to work Tuesday, got morning stuff done, and explained the situation to my boss. told him I'd need to take the day because it was swollen and painful and I needed to rest and be off of it in order for it to heal. He gets in a tizzy because God forbid anyone needs to miss work for anything at all, ever, and snaps at me for not planning to go to the doctor. Wednesday, I go into work, still limping, still wearing improper footwear. I can only fit the injured foot into a crock without unbearable pain. First thing boss says is, don't you think you should get that checked out? I don't understand why you don't want to just pay for it. I explain again that I've had this injury in the past. It's definitely not broken and honestly not even as swollen as it has been when I've done it before. I want to be at work to keep up on things and make everyone's job less difficult. I would just need to take it easy for a couple of days, which isn't a problem considering I can do 90% of the job from my desk and the 10% slack is beyond easy for everyone to pick up, especially when not being there makes them pick up 100% of it, which makes sense. You're not coming in there with the flu. This gets met with more attitude, so I ask if I'll be getting paid sick time for the day I missed yesterday. He says no, not without a doctor's note. You can visibly see the injury clear as day, and I'm trying here, so WTF. So the only thing I would say with that is it depends on the company policy. If they require a doctor's note for sick time, a lot of companies don't, especially post-COVID. But again, as a manager, I would be understanding, especially if you have the time to cover it, but not quite enough to make a judgment there. But I understand both sides. I'm fed up at this point, so later on I say okay and leave to go to the doctor's for the note he wants so badly, knowing full well what they'll say to treat it, and then I'll need to be off of it for 3 to 5 days. Ooh, valid. Didn't think about that. After an x-ray and getting the yup, it's sprained, keep doing what you're doing, I let them know my boss asked for a note for missing a day of work to rest it. Doc asked if I want to be at work to do what I can and stay off of it as best as possible. I said that's what I've been trying to do, so I'm fine with that. I do have sick time if it would be more beneficial to be off of it for a couple of days. She comes back with a note that I may return to work on 9/9, which would be Monday. Oh, sneaky, sneaky. I took a picture, shot it over to Boss Man, just the photo. He replies, what's wrong with the ankle? Which I met with no response considering none is needed. He got his note. I just wanted a day of sick time, 8 hours. Now he's paying me 4 days, 32 hours. He can't refuse a second of it. I mean, you get what you ask for, right? I've had supervisors that have done the flip of it. Oh, you're not that sick. Please come in. And they contaminate everybody. It was really bad during the pandemic at times because people just didn't know what to take seriously. But in this case, I mean, you want to be a stickler for it, you want to be nasty and stubborn, and you want to try to stick it to your people, then this is what you get, right? I wouldn't want somebody working that's in pain if it's going to affect their job, but at the same time, if they want to come in and help, if it's a small team or whatever, I understand both sides of it. I worked like a week after my hysterectomy, so I was in bed, but I was still working. And so, like, I get it, but sometimes managers, they get on that power trip and they just want, no, you have to do what I say, or it's not that bad, or blah, blah, blah. Nothing is worth it. So, you did what he asked you to do. So let's see if we can find one more. We'll go to work advice. We'll go to work advice. All right, so this one is under r/work advice, square_opportunity93. I work in the title is coworker thinks he's my boss and is trying to get me moved from my department. Oh, these are fun. Says I work in a window factory, more specifically the shipping dock. I have this coworker. He has 20 years experience loading trailers. Okay. 2 at this company. He's always been the de facto leader, and we've always taken direction from him because he's more experienced and is usually right. When we run out of work, we usually need to go to our supervisor and ask to be transferred to a different department with work available to do. But for some reason, this coworker is excluded from that rule. I love those. So one night he told me to go to the supervisor and get transferred because there's no more work left, despite there still being work left. I try to tell him that, but he just angrily says, "We can manage it." Okay, buddy. I think this is kind of BS, but I don't want to argue with him, so I go find my supervisor. She's not there, so I decide to help my coworker for a little bit, and then I check back later. He sees me doing this and is now mad. He asks me why I'm still here, and I try to explain my reasoning, but it goes right through him, and he angrily storms off. I found her a little while after, and I got transferred for the night. The rest of the week, I noticed he did not say a word to me, and I spotted him staring at me from across the room on multiple occasions. One day, I noticed he starts to take over the trailer I was doing while I was doing it, so I ask him why, and he barks at me. "Because you're getting transferred for being defiant towards me. I am in charge around here." Oh, no, sir. I asked if the supervisor actually said that because I suspected he was just saying that to scare me into listening to him. He wouldn't answer me. So I went to the supervisor, and sure enough, I was being transferred despite there still being work. He's taking over my work and lying to the supervisor, saying I'm out of work to get me transferred because I hurt his ego once. What should I even do because I do not appreciate being treated like this? Honestly, you didn't say something in the beginning, so at this point, take the transfer and go to a better team and make things better. Like, he's got a power trip. I get that, but nobody should have let him get as far as he did. And if you aren't going to stand up for yourself, don't push it. Just go to a different department. If it's costing you money or if it's like a demotion, then stand up for yourself. Like, ask for a reason. Why am I being transferred? Can you validate this for me? Also, if you're being treated like crap, do you want to stay in that department? It doesn't sound like your hours or your pay are really being affected, so it depends on what you're going to do with it. But if you want to stay there, you need to stand up for yourself and you need to get the truth set. Maybe he does get the de facto supervisor role. Maybe the supervisor doesn't want to be the supervisor and lets him do it. You need to talk. You can't just walk around and then all of a sudden get your, not get your way, or he gets mad or he takes it out on you and now you're going to say something. You should have said something before. You should have found the supervisor, or you should have stood up for yourself or talked to the other guys. Like, you can't get mad. Like, you can. Like, I'm not saying what he's doing is right, but people, we got to start standing up for ourselves. We can't be abused like this. And if they're not going to help you, move on. I hate to say it that way, but that's the way it is. I am a big believer that work can be like a family, but it's not going to be like a happy-go-lucky family. It's going to be a dysfunctional family like you see at your family reunion. You're going to have your cousins that nobody really wants to admit are their cousins, but secretly they're amazing and they do everything for you, but you don't need to tell anybody that. You're going to have siblings you don't get along with, but you need to do stuff because you got to get to mom and mom and dad are your bosses, right? I have had lots of experience with lots of different coworkers, and we have to start saying something. You have to start standing up for yourself. You can't let toxicity fester and fester and then say, oh no, what do I do when it's up to here? You need to say something when your feet are stepping in it. The more people are able to be bullies and the more they're able to be toxic, the more fuel we give them, and then everybody's just a big bully and nobody is ever doing anything productive. If you can only get to the top of the ladder by knocking people down, you're not doing it the right way. And it's a very lonely place at the top if you've knocked everybody else down that ladder. There's room for everybody at the top. There's a lot of tops that line up with each other. Not everybody needs to be standing on every peak, but you can succeed while pushing other people up farther up their ladder. And I think that the more we contribute to the people around us, and the more that we uplift the people around us, and the more that we encourage people to stand up for themselves, we can all work together. There are companies out there where everybody is invested in the same thing, and the management is what needs to enforce that. And so if you have somebody, sorry, I hit the desk. If you have somebody in your life and they are tearing you down, or they're intentionally holding you back, then ask yourself why. 9 times out of 10, they're probably jealous of you. There's no other way to say that. Why are they jealous? I am a tall redhead. I think I'm very pretty. Not everybody does. That's okay. But I'm confident in myself. My confidence causes other people's insecurities. And I spent a lot of years apologizing for that, apologizing for being myself, until I realized I don't need to. I'm amazing, and that's okay. And I tell everyone around me that they too are amazing. And it's okay if we are all amazing together, because that's what makes everything amazing. You can be amazing, and your neighbors can be amazing, and your managers can be amazing, and your best friend can be amazing, and your husband or your wife, your girlfriend, your kids. All my kids are amazing. My work kids, Chrissy, Sammy, Nicole, I love you all. Amazing. DJ, Dennis, I could name you all. I miss you all. I think you're all fantastic, and I hope that eventually I get to see you grow. My kids from the trampoline place. I watch you all bloom, and I love social media for giving me that, because I can watch you guys grow and mature and put in all of these things that you have seen over the years, and seeing the next generation have more respect for their peers. When it's instilled in them and you give them the respect, they give it to you, and everybody should have the same respect, and it should be perfectly fine. So, on that note, because I don't really know how else to end this, I'm going to sign off. And I appreciate all of you being here. Please like and subscribe, share my channel, share my social media, share as much as you can, and we will continue to grow together, and I will continue to make my background prettier. All right, I hope everybody has a great day, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye.